So I've dealt with a lot of different security systems, and I love PoE systems, which is what we're checking out today. But this one is pretty unique. It's from OOSSXX. I don't know if there's a pronunciation for that. But it's unique because not only does it come with the typical home base station where you get 1 terabyte of storage in this, but you also get a screen display, which you can set up anywhere for your PoE. And that's one of the main features that we're going to check out today. Now, luckily enough, I do have PoE wiring outside of my house. So one of these cameras, I'm actually going to try to set it up outside. And the other ones we're going to set up just kind of near the station, just so we can see what the 4-camera looks like. And the reason why is because it's a lot of hassle to take down all of my PoE cameras. But we're going to do it for a few. However, let's start by seeing what comes in the box. Starting with my favorite item right here, which is that home display. So this is a mobile display that looks like you can run all the cameras directly into, and they're going to display directly on this, so wherever you have your wiring. So this is going to be one of the main reasons why you might go with this camera. So we'll of course be checking this out in the process as well. Next, you have your mounting stickers, power cord, mouse, HDMI, small Ethernet, power block, and a nice little handy remote. In here we have the nice long PoE cables. So if you're running this for the first time, PoE essentially means power over Ethernet, which means you're both getting an internet connection to these cameras, but also power through one cable, which makes running it really easy. And you have 4 very long cables here. For me, I only had to get 1 extra 100-meter cable when I was doing my installation. Most of the 50 ones that came with it did the job, which is what I'm assuming these are. So you might have to get longer cables depending on how far you're running these. Those cameras now, these are stationary cameras, but they are 4K. They do have 2-way talk, and it's around 130-degree field of vision. Oh, they got a lot of protected on here. It also looks like they have a dual spotlight at the top, which we'll be taking a look at. We have the sensor right there. And for the camera that's outside, we'll also be able to see what the night vision is like. So it's a very simple mount design. It only moves in that one axis. So the vertical axis right here, so you can't adjust it side to side. So make sure you find a good spot for these where you're getting maximum coverage. So there are our 4 cameras, all the accessories you get with it. You have your cords, your mouse, your cables, your cameras, your screws, your mounts. Now, I thought this was just the screen, but this is actually the main NVR system as well. So this is actually where you run it. You can see you have 4 additional lines you can run if you want to get more cameras with them. And then your main WAN port, which is where you're going to run your main Ethernet. And you do have an extra HDMI in here as well, or this should be an HDMI out if you want to run this to an additional monitor, and then your USBs. So we're going to start by setting all these up. I'm going to have 3 cameras just here in my basement because, like I said, I can't run these all outside. And then 1 camera we're going to run outside in my backyard so you guys can get a better idea of what it looks like. Let's get to the install and I'll show you hopefully how simple this is. So let's go ahead and start the setup, and we're going to kick things off by plugging in our main NVR monitor over here. Now, I've already actually set up my 1 outdoor camera. So one of these cameras are outside. I just connected it to my existing PoE line, and then that is going to allow me to attach it into here. Now, I'm actually going to have to move this quite a bit closer because the lines don't run this far, but we'll worry about that later. We're going to start by hooking up the main screen here and system. This is going to be a pretty easy process overall. So all you really need to do when you run these outside is run these PoE lines like we have here. And like I said, I'm going to be doing this in my basement just because I'm not going to hook every single one of these up. But it's actually a very simple process. So all you have to do is hook one of the lines up through here. And the other line that is all the way inside here, this is what runs to your camera. And this just basically has a waterproof kind of seal on here. So it all attaches together. And all you'll do is take your 1 camera line right here, attach it in, and this should independently wire and power your camera. And there we go. So we actually just got our first camera on the feed right there. You can see it. So now I don't have my Ethernet plugged into here, so these aren't actually getting power, but you can see there's a little green box around my face there. It's tracking my face. The screen quality is not great, but we'll see what it looks like inside the app. I'm sure there's a lot more we can do with this screen as well. Remember, this has 1 terabyte of storage, so it should be recording. And now essentially what you could do is do that with every single one of these cameras. We're gonna leave it at 1 for the indoor ones, just so you can kind of see some of the main features, but we can see right here on the screen how it's displaying, and you can even see it is tracking my face there, which is pretty cool. So now if we look at the back of the system, it's really not that complicated. These are where you're gonna throw in your actual camera lines, these LAN ports. And then the WAN port is where we're gonna connect our nice long Ethernet line, which is going to add internet connection to all of our cameras. And so now we should be able to connect directly through the app. Okay, and it looks like we have our NVR system set up. So let's go ahead and open it up. And there it is. Just like that, we can now see our one camera. I'm gonna wave at it right there. And you can see that's perfectly matching what's going on the screen right there. And this allows you to have a view of all of your cameras. So every camera that you have set up to 8 of them, can all be viewed directly from this mode. And it looks like there's a bunch of other grids that we can switch it to if you want an 8-view grid, a 6-view grid, a 1-view grid. You also have your microphone, which you can talk back and forth. Let's go to our main thing here. So we can microphone it right there. We can also speak to talk through it as well. There's HD quality that we could switch to. We were on standard definition. I will say the camera, it looks solid for a 4K camera. I wouldn't say it's the clearest 4K I've ever seen. So what you can really see is the difference between the screen and my phones. It actually looks 10 times better on my phone. So this just isn't a very high quality screen, but it does have that HDMI port if you want to put it off to another screen as well, like a better quality monitor. We can speak to talk right here, and that automatically goes right through your camera. So now I can have a conversation with whoever's on the other end. And that's every single one of these. Now these should also have spotlights if I remember right. Let's try to get a spotlight on here. That's a record option. So these do have a spotlight, but I actually don't see an option to turn on the spotlight. You can see the spotlight right there on the camera. It might only activate at night. That's entirely possible. But what else I find weird is when we go into our system settings. Oh, here we go. So there is a full color night vision right there. Infrared is always on. Let's go ahead and try to change it to full color night vision. And let's turn off our lights here and see if we can get the night vision to turn on. So let's start that. The infrared black is not enabled and the LED white light is turned on automatically. Okay, let's see if we can turn off our camera lights and get that to activate. We gotta turn off more lights. We're gonna have to turn off more lights. Okay, is that enough to turn on these infrared? Turn off a few more lights. So what we're seeing here is the camera quality is actually still pretty good despite it being very low light, which shows me that this has very good low light control. But the downside is you can't just, it seems like anyways, from what I can see from the settings here, unless I'm missing something, you can't scroll. There's no way to just activate the spotlights, which is weird to me. There should be a spotlight, unless it's right here. Oh, that's the alarm. So for whatever reason, not able to activate the spotlights. Now, I'm gonna show one other thing here that I kind of find weird before we take a look at the camera I set up outside. They have like motion controls here, except for this camera isn't a pan and tilt camera. So it's almost like their interface doesn't change based on what camera you have plugged in. And then obviously I've also noticed there's just no way to activate the spotlight during the day. So like the camera quality's not bad, but the app seems to be limited. You can tell the settings doesn't have a whole lot of options in there compared to some other brands that I've tested out. And the fact that there's like controls there that I can't even use, it's a little weird. So their interface should be changing based on the camera I plugged in. But overall, I do really love this screen that comes with it. So what I want to do next is I want to plug this in on the side here and take a look at what it looks like with the outdoor camera that I have set up. My PoE line only runs so far, so we're going to check it out on the side. So I'm going to place this right in the back here. And now what I'm going to do is plug in my one outdoor PoE line where I set up one of these cameras. You can see these lines are nice and tight. And there it is. You can see the one line. So I'm going to record it on my phone, and we're going to go outside, jump around a little bit, and see what I can see. Yeah, it looks pretty good. You can see how it's also tracking my body while I'm moving as well. So what you can see there is it also tracks your body with a little green box, which is pretty cool. So it does have some tracking capability. I guess overall, what would I think of this system? Is it the best quality 4K I've ever seen? No, it's not. Does it have the best app I've ever seen? No. But what it does have is a rather affordable overall point. And on top of that, you're getting an 1 terabyte drive. You're getting this really cool screen where you can watch all your cameras, or you can attach it into a monitor if you want. And you have 4 nice cameras that are more than enough to set up around your house and kind of protect the area. It is easier than it looks to set up as long as you're good at nicely kind of wiring stuff and attaching it to your house. But overall, it's a nice little kit. Not my favorite NVR PoE system that I've checked out, but very solid. So I would definitely check this out. It's by OSSX, OOSSXX. See you guys later.